start here for Visham here is having this hook in the mid map here, holding that saw, applying pressure to these survivors here. Now gonna end up going back, but no one home on that first unhook just yet here. Instead, scouting away, looking. We don't have Hex Ruin on, so no passive aggression on these generators. We do have some kick perks available to us though, if we choose to commit all the way to be able to regress those gens. But unhook might come through at the same time here. Is suspecting someone around this bus here, but no one found yet. We are convinced someone is close, holding that saw, feathering it at the cusp of being able to get the down if anyone shows their face. A little too close here, feels.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is kind of a slower start for what you're going to be seeing in a typical Billy match. Obviously, Cyber, you are not new to the Billy matches. You have had a couple yourself recently. But this kind of doesn't really compare to a lot of games we've seen. It's been very, very slow to start out with. And we also see this going into second, which is kind of good at 5 gens. But as we can kind of see on the HUD, there's a good amount of progress. But I can imagine chase off and not quite the other gen with the higher progress.
Yeah. We are going to be committing here onto our ace here. Unhook comes through now, so Nia back in play, but on Deathhook. So if we choose to go back here, this could be a very early elimination of a survivor, and it looks like that's exactly what we're going to try to do here. Turning around, trying to find, can we see the injured survivor? Nia doesn't have the pools of blood here, is the Gnome either obscures that from the killer, but I think we do find Nia atop this hill right now. Trying to zone them away, but we do make a filler pallet here. We have the overdrive, though, for a little bit longer to have that speed boost to be able to catch a survivor. Is it going to be enough? No, it is not. I think we cut our saw a little bit early here, trying to bait possibly a dead hard, as that is a very common combo with the Gnome either, but we did not use that perk. Instead, going to try to go for the Shack Pallet. Do we make it in time? Yes, we do! This is a same ping matchup, EU to EU, so not gonna have the ability to get that stun a little bit more confidently here as Nia. Gonna try to send it to the bus, but I don't think we're gonna quite make it there, as that'll be Esakai going back on the ground here, but interesting decision here is we're going to end up slugging a little bit, but that is our no mither survivor here.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the play. They might need to take the kill here. Just the fact forcing them into free v, most likely at 2 gens, is going to be not in a bad place for our killer here. This is kind of what you want to see. This is more the traditional typical set that we'll be seeing. But as we see our no mither player going back to the campfire, we don't have that protection as much coming in, but they still have Deli UB on the board here. So like I said, it is kind of all to play for still, and these chases need to be shortened down to be able to make them count. Because like I said, we have our death at 2 gens almost won.
Definitely not ideal, but survivors have a lot of progress on some of these gens. We have a gen here, at least 3 pistons pumping on this one, as we are scouting around looking for someone. I think we do catch eyes on the survivor that was here. I think this is the Claudette, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. Dexo going to be taking that chase to the truck here. Are we going to be able to make the window? We're not even going to go for it instead of wrapping around that front side, but there's no pallet, no window, no resource here. Feathering that saw, going wide, trying to flare. Is it going to work out? No, it is not. Dexo on the ground. A beautiful little curve there by Visham is going to be able to get this 4th hook, as we see Kitchen Woman and Closet here getting some good progress already, and I think we are going back to that high progress gen that, if I'm not mistaken, Kitchen Woman was on.
Yeah, this gen has got so much progress on it, and as we kick it with Pop and Call of Brian, talk about Call of Brian becoming like a lot more used in these sets, giving such good information overall, really helping. But we do find Dexo here, who has got, I will perceive, second wind, but we are going to be playing the pallet. Do we manage to get it off? But we are playing it really, really well here. Really good patience and understanding of the tile. Might just manage to get it off in time, but we do take the pallet out and we are going to be forced to kind of play into the dead zone. But fortunately, we do manage to make an edge map Z-Wall here. Are we the Z-Wall demon of all time? Not quite, but we are doing a fabulous job just giving that pressure back to the team.
Yeah, that Z-Wall might just be enough as well, feels, is dying over it, making the killer walk around now, going to be able to carry to a hook. 1 gen pop, that last one is so close, we see it. Is it going to be enough? Ace is coming up close to popping it. Is Jake there to double? We don't quite know. We're going to pull up the slow. I don't think we're going to make it, if I'm not mistaken. It might be that Shack gen, and yes, it is! Popping that final generator. This is the end game now. Visham is looking for a fresh survivor, or both if possible, to try to maybe slug out and get a 4K0. But instead, we don't want to commit onto the Shack. We want to go back. We want to look for whoever got that unhook, because they are probably in a bit of a worse position here.
Yeah, I feel like we need to kind of snowball to the capacity to get ourselves a decent result to come back for. Like I said, even getting a fresh hook here would actually be immaculate as we
Oh,
get the cross map. Oh my god, I was not ready for that.
yeah. Gotta keep your head on a swivel. Look both ways when crossing the Blood Lodge, because Visham is here, and he will cross map you. Sending that saw one more time. Can we get another? We're going for that door. We see scratch marks nearby. Is this kitchen moment? Should be our other fresh survivor. Yes, it is. Jake Park gonna be found out here. Pulling up that saw, gonna ends up curving around the rock instead, just walking. A little bit of a mind game play there. Crouch in front of it instead, vaulting the pallet. Now we see lights are lit up on that exit gate. We're pretty sure that Dexo is the one working it right now. Sawing and breaking the pallet now. Kitchen moment gonna try to send it to the door. All they have is the truck here, curving around. Are we gonna make this one? No, we're not. Dexo isn't even here, actually. No, so that door isn't fully open. Only a couple lights lit up. Is now Patience by Visham here, trying to bait the balls. Is going to come through. Is going to be able to convert on that down. Unhook comes from the classic, so we know no survivor is at an exit gate right now.
I was about to say, I think Kitchen Woman had a little bit too much plot armor for a little too long there, because, like I said, the down was inevitable to happen with only truck here. We do have our fresh. I think the most optimal play here would honestly to be taking the fresh stages, because I don't think this would be a bad result to come back with, but Visham needs to play this really, really well to be able to make it matter. And I think keeping this fresh hook, basically on hook till death, would be the best way to do this.
I'd have to agree here is the only reason I feel like you leave this hook is if you see classic R Ace pushing out a little bit too far, not quite safe enough at a door, because that is the same stages, and then maybe you can bait Dexter to come in and get some conversion with a slug out situation. But no, exit gate has been popped. Survivors haven't left yet though. Maybe we're gonna try to come in. That is always a risky play. Going for unhooks versus Hillbilly is, you're just a saw away from down at all points, even if you get that reset onto our survivors, which they're not even healed yet. So don't know what their play is here, but I'm very intrigued to see if they have the confidence to come in and try to get this 3 out.
Don't know if it's worth it. I was about to say, I think we leave in the scenario because it is just too risky, especially with not being healed and where the position of the hook is to the gate. They would need to do the gate behind him to be able to make this work, but unfortunately that gate just was not close enough. But no, what a fabulous match coming in from both teams here. Really, really well played. But yeah, make sure to stay tuned with us, and we'll see you up next for Graves on the Killer.
And welcome back. We are in the second half of our Hillbilly set, Extazy versus Graves right now. We have Kitchen Woman for Graves on the Hillbilly, trying to get 10 stages here, feels. As starting off with an early find here onto Visham, our Nomother survivor. A little bit of deja vu, as this is the same Nomother. This is a Nomother we found last trial to get that game going.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a little bit of a deja vu moment. But maybe we might see a bit of a stronger chase coming out from Legion that might be able to set their matches up just a little quicker as we see the Blast Mine. Firecracker come through, which is going to obviously help them just rotate a little bit easier to something a little more stable. We do manage to kind of look around the palette just a little more, just going ring around the roses, being able to waste as much time as possible.
Gonna choose to greed that. No, my. That was not the survivor we were on a second ago. That was a good read by Kitchen Woman there to be able to identify. Someone was working the gen really close to you. I'm gonna 180 and cut them off, and that's exactly what happened here. Our Hanato gonna be going down onto the ground here. Yeah, Legion did a very good job there of denying a lot of time, though. No Mither is normally a very big detriment to those chases, but it did not matter here. Our ace lasting there. Hanato is going to be that first down, kicking this gen, applying some eruption to it. Is now going to go back to the hook. Are we going to have any fast unhooks? We saw that first hook last game get forced to the second stage. Do you think we'll see the same thing this game, feels?
I think this is what they kind of need to do at the moment. They have a high prog gen right next to them. They have a hook, kind of in a good free gen area, with obviously looking down kind of near bus and obviously Shack connected in. But we are being really greedy for this gen here, which I think might be the downfall of Extazy, as we catch our player coming in for the save.
Yeah, Interstellar sent it for the unhook, didn't quite get through that animation in time. Kitchen Woman able to make it back and deny that entirely here. Is now we're just going to sit on top of this hook here in case the survivor ends up getting up with UB. We don't know if the survivor is that or not. but it looks like Kitchen Woman just going to play it safe here. Fully sit. Make sure no one is coming in here. Legion going to be diving that hook, coming in close, but we're trying to body block this. Are we going to be able to in time? Yes, we are, but the Unbreakable comes through, and just going to be able to get that on hook just in time before our hit cooldown comes through here, as we are going to end up picking that Nomai, making sure we cannot pick ourselves up off the floor once again here. Is now Rachel sitting on that gen. Skipatch going to be away in no man's land. Is now going back to that bottom side gen. We're going to try to go for Rachel here, who's been sitting on this bottom side gen. Our Rick Grimes here vaulting this window, using our bamboozle to cut off one more resource. Now going for a curve around this. Are we going to be able to convert on this? No, we are not here. Rachel has the read. Not getting curved just yet here on this tile. Unhook comes through. Onto Legion pickup comes through. That is all survivors back on our feet.
Yeah, this is like an insane recovery here. I do want to point out something that's a little strange to see in this set. Mindbreaker. I do not see this a lot in our ability sets. It is a very interesting perk to obviously stop those exhaustions, but it's not a very common perk to be seeing in those kind of matches. So I'm surprised that we see Kitchen on it here, but nevertheless, we are going on to chase on Legion here, who has got a bit of a TNL. We are swinging for it, but unfortunately not quite the cross ping hit that you want to see, but we have to make as much time as possible on the TNLs, but I don't think it is going to last. I think we are going to see the Dead Hard coming through, though, which is going to extend this chase out just a little longer.
Yeah, beautiful deadhead there by Legion. Gonna be able to extend the chase, make it back to that TNL. Has a filler pallet to be able to chain between the two of them here. He's catching them going for mind games here, trying to fake this double back, trying to bait the over rotation here of Legion. Not gonna work out though. Legion has phenomenal patience. Gonna be wrapping back to this rock filler right now. Kitchen pulling up that saw, trying to threaten which way they're gonna go, but another greed by Legion. They are buying so much time here. Is with every survivor on their feet, these gens are gonna be pumping. Every second here is so precious. Is now sending it away. Kitchen Woman gonna cut their losses and go find another survivor.
I was about to say, for this game going so fast and how much has been going on, we've not seen a super amount of gem pressure in the backline here, which I'm quite surprised about. You'd want to be seeing a little more by how much has been going on, but the recovery is taking a little bit of time to kind of bring it back, but we are going to be seeing because we're on the chase here, but they don't have a lot in this area, and I think this will just go into the down. Due to the fact that they just don't really have anything in this corner of the map at the moment.
Yeah, that is Skipatch going to be getting carried off to another hook. Looks like we're going to try to get one in between the generators we have remaining right now. Ooh, are we going to make it here? This is a bit far here. We do not have the agitation, no iron grasp. Looks like we are, though, just before the wiggle off here. Pulling up that saw, threatening. We know this gen has a little bit of prog. Someone might be close. But Kitchen Woman instead are going to go back and try to check out this bus generator here. We see the scratch marks. We know someone is here most definitely, as that gen also has quite a bit of progress here. Unhook comes through on our Hanato. We are 180ing right back to that hook. We want to try to get our elimination. We want to send them back to the campfire. Bounce landing going to be used off that hill. A lot of speed boost and distance going to be made away towards that main building right now. Is going for a curve. Are we going to be able to convert on this? No, we are not. Is our survivor. It looks like sending it towards that bottom side. Might be trying to make a beeline for the shack. Are we able to make it in time? No, we're not. Doubling back. Cut off is perfect there by Kitchen Woman here. Pulling up that saw. We are going to drop this pallet, try to greed around it. Going for the tires. This is going to work out in our favor here as we have, I think, another survivor coming in. Yes, this is Rachel coming in to try to protect the survivor here. Mind gaming this. Looks like, though, some good baiting, though, is going to be able to make it to the shack. Or not quite, actually. Going to be stranded here a little bit at the rock. Curve not coming through, though. Rachel, we see waiting in the wings. Possibly for a hit take. Possibly for a cracker save. Maybe a beam. Shack pallet used, though. Skipatch trying to make every second last here. Fourth generator popping as this chase is going so long here. Skipatch is doing beautifully. Just chained together all these fillers on the map.
This is an absolute demonic chase. This is a chase that made this game matter, and for such a fumble at the beginning. And we do find our fresh hook here, which is Interstellar, but even if we camp this to death, we just won't have enough stages. We need to be playing for more. We need to be able to find most likely Rachel here, and hopefully get our two freshers just in dead. But unfortunately, I don't think it is going to be possible. We do find Legion here, who has got this pallet, and we are swinging for that, like we are on cross ping. But unfortunately, we're just not going to hit it. But I think we are going to leave this chase and hopefully try and pick up our fresh, but has immediately been picked up. Regardless, we see this gate has actually been opened, so might just be able to make it out, but Yeah, it's just unfortunate, but this is our Death Hook Survivor, so this is not the worst place to be.
Yeah. We are going to end up getting our Hanato as our prize at the end of this game here, 4 stages. As that'll be set 1 going the way of Extazy, their choice. As now we'll have to see how the reply comes in as we have set number 2 coming up after a short break. Stay tuned.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I think we might be having a little bit of deja vu because we do see another Billy set coming in because of the Whisker issues with him being kill switched. We did ask teams what they wanted. They both decided to go 2x Billy with only tiebreakers, so it's a bit of a strange one. But we do see Dean Graves on the killer once again, as we saw last round. Most likely going to be coming back for some revenge this time. But I am not alone in the casting. I'm here with Cyber. Cyber, do you think they're going to be coming back with a vengeance?
Definitely a bit of redemption here for Kitchen Woman here, trying to get that 4K, wants to be able to put up that good result this time. Already losing our Ruin, though, is not a good sign here. That totem is going to be gone very fast. We do not have Undying, so that is going to be done and dusted there. Is now holding the saw here. We're back on Legion here. This is almost, I think this is the 3rd trial in the row where we've had that no matter be the first chase here. As going to be going for a curve now through this pallet. Isn't going to quite be able to connect here as Visham going to be able to make it back to that window here. Vaulting after, using our bamboozle to block off that. Now wrapping back, though, we still do have the pallet here. Are we going to choose to commit to this? No, we're not. Instead, trying to find a new survivor, trying to find someone else, possibly a little bit more caught out in position here, is holding that saw here, looking. Do we see anyone around the bus here? Sawing through, and yes, we do here. We have some scratch marks, but instead, not going to go for them just yet. Instead, kick, apply our eruption.
Yeah, no, this is kind of a slow start. Like you said, I think it's the Nomad or Curse at this point. We just constantly keep finding them, but we are going to be applying our eruption. We don't actually have Mindbreaker or Calibrine this time around, so I think Kitchen Woman is taking it a little more kind of seriously since it's the second set, and they really want to be able to go down to tiebreaker to make sure XC do not take a 2-0. But as we see that, we do get the Nomad Curse once again as we find them on the rotate. It will just make this pallet, but they actually don't. Maybe we're going to be seeing a bit of a pallet save coming.
Oh, yes, we are. Nancy waiting was there just in time. Is going to pay for it with an M1 hit onto them here. But that is going to be Legion off the shoulder of Kitchen Woman here. Back on their feet. We do see Survivor, though, rotating away. Is Kitchen Woman going to choose to commit this? No, we're not. Instead, we got the Eruption proc. We know Survivor was up here on that bus gen. Once again here, it is our Hanato. Skip batch here. Going to be in chase now. Pulling up that saw. We have the overdrive here for that increased reboost. Are we going to be able to get the curve on this? No, we're not. Hugging that wall beautifully here is Skip batch here. Wrapping now has the window. Are we going to use our bamboozle? Yes, we are. Vaulting over that window. Pulling up the saw once again. Can we get back to deny the pallet in time? No, we cannot. That little bit of increased charge up from the engravings add-on is going to make it a little bit too long for us to be able to get that full cut off there. Going for a curve through this tile, but Skip Patch is playing out of their mind right now. That is first gen popping. No one is on the hook yet. As Kitchen Woman trying to get that first down. Wants to get that snowball going here. Oh, but just making it to that filler pod outside the main building. Trying to go back to stun the killer, but is it going to be enough? Was that a little bit too greedy here? Going for the curve? Yes, it was! Didn't quite make it back to that pallet after trying to run into the Billy to get that stun right in the face of Kitchen Woman, and that'll be a costful price for that first down.
But see, that was a little risky, a little too risky for my liking, but we do see 2 gens going for first hook. This is a lot better of a start for Team XC than last round. Kitchen Woman is going to have their task, but if anyone is going to snowball it out, it is going to be Billy. So like I said, we need to make sure that we are still staying on our game and playing to the best capacity we can. We do know there is Deli allowed in the balancing with UB as well, so I wouldn't be shocked if we see our Deli player kind of having a bit of a rotate down to make sure that we can get that basically free unhook, as I say.
Yeah, as you say, we do see the unhook come through right in front of our killer's eyes here. That'll be Interstellar onto the ground here, and we do know from the previous trial, assuming the survivors did not switch, that this was the Unbreakable survivor and the Deliverance survivor from previous, so we are not going to leave any chances. We're going to pick them up, put them on that hook. have to try to eat the less of two evils here, as we are going to find Skip Patch once again here in this corner. We have a 4 lane here. Deliverance going to be used here by Interstellar. Pre-dropping this pallet gonna instead of be wrapping around it. Are we going to be able to get the curb before we make it around one more time? No, we are not. Instead, just going to be breaking that pallet, and now going to be committing onto the back of Skip Patch here. Going for a bit of a crouch tech here, but are we going to be able to make the window in time? We're going to send it. Fastball going to go through. Does it hit? No, it doesn't. Nobody home on that swing there. Is curving around this, trying to cut off, deny any distance, but Skip Patch is holding this beautifully. His third gen is popping, going for one last curve around this. Not going to pan through. Do we make that window again? Is Skip Patch going to go for it? Does Lightning strike twice? Yes, it does, Skip Patch. Not going to be M1 there. Bamboozle finally going to be used on that window. This Kitchen Woman is going to be forced to leave and try to look for someone anew.
This is absolutely insane. Skipatch really holding the chase for his team right now, really holding it to the best capacity, giving them all of that pressure back. Team Extazy have been playing out of their minds, but we do catch Rachel out on the bit of a jiggy play there, and that is going down, which is going to be another fresh shot coming in. But with the amount of pressure that we have, I don't know if camping is going to be the viable strat for this game. I think they might need to just play for those stages best they can.
Yeah, we've already spread out the hook stage, sharing the love among the survivors here. We have 3 unique survivors that have all been hooked. It's Rachel now. We are keeping eyes on them as we walk away to go kick the shit and apply our eruption here. Holding up that saw, just thinking about we could always go back and interrupt the survivor if we see them a little bit too close. As we are going to end up finding here, Visham here, wrapping to this tile. We already used the pallet though. We only have the window and kitchen woman. Going to try to cut off, and it is going to work so beautifully here. M1 going to be used in the corner of the map. Eruption exploding that one generator. As now we are going to choose to slug this because we have the down pretty close to the hook, but this is our nobody survivor, so that is only a ticking timer until Legion can pick themselves back up off the floor here. So we are going to find Interstellar here in the corner, going for a bit of a curve here. I think we bumped on some tires. Now, forcing that pallet out. Are we going to commit on the Interstellar here, or are we going to play close by to this hook to make sure that Visham doesn't get themselves off the floor with them there and get that pull?
Yeah, this is a scary place to be. This is kind of the snowballing that we need to see, but uh, with Visham coming off of the ground, this is where it's going to start getting scary. We need to play this so well, but we're not getting the save. It might be the play that might snowball the rest of the game out. And we are going to take pick on this so they can't just go and no matter again. But honestly, I don't think that was the play they needed.
Yeah, went for that risky last second unhook, but Kitchenwoman was aware of it, so was able to deny it. But that gen has a lot of progress. Rachel coming off the hook, I'd imagine by Interstellar, who we saw close by Skip Patch, probably the one that was working this gen right here, applying eruption once again now. It's almost a similar situation that we just had a second ago where we had a hook on that high progression and we were kind of playing just outside of that radius, applying pressure to whatever survivor is too close, and it looks like that'll be Skip Patch this time. Wrapping around this truck. We already saw Skip Patch had an amazing chase here once. Going for a curve. Is it going to work out for them this time? Yes, it is. It is going to be unhooked here. Onto Legion now. Going for the wrap of this. Isn't going to be enough. Pulling up that saw. Going for a curve. Do we make it before they make it back to that window? Yes, we do. As that'll be making it away towards that shack here. And it looks like we even have Legion going to be coming in to try to take a hit. Maybe with that BT. Maybe with a Dead Hard. Maybe with hope. Just hoping on dreams. But it looks like Rachel is going to be cut off as we split away from them and find our Rick Grimes. And that is already injured, so that'll be Rachel going down to just an M1 here. No bounce landing to make it off that hill to get any distance, as that'll be Rachel going back to the campfire.
Yeah, I don't think Rick Grimes could survive the Billy match, but definitely can survive the apocalypse. But we do see our last gen going off, and we do see a kind of close gates, which is going to be a lot more difficult for the team here. We do see a lot more spread out stages. Coming in, we do see a fantastic pallet drop from Interstellar, but they're going to need to make some sort of play as we jump locker, but I don't think it's going to matter because there's no pallet here, and it's just going to cause a bit of an issue. And as we see that Interstellar is going down.
Survivor is immediately going to be leaving. Legion goes for a Dead Hard at the door, trying to buy a little bit of time. I think this might be our Unbreakable Survivor, but it was not enough time. So we're going to get back. We're going to get that Mori, as that'll be a pretty decent result overall. 8 stages, 4 fresh. Definitely not bad, but also not awful for our serve side here. This will be a very interesting game to go into that 4th trial here. Will Ecstasy take it to a Will Graves even the score and take us that Oni set? We'll see after a short break. Stay tuned.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is the second set of the second game of the second set, sorry, and we are going to be needing to see a 9 stage win con coming in from Extazy Killer Legion here, who was our Billy from last match, and we do find Kitchen Wench here on full shining display of Legacy, so I, I'm surprised that they're stealthing wasn't seen it a little earlier, but we are going to be taking first chase on. I have a little bit of an awkward palette here. Not quite you want to see, but the logic and the bumps and all the collision of DBD is just not quite it. But we do get a bit of a shorter chase coming in afterwards. But this is kind of a good start for Team XC's killer here.
Yeah, and it was the first game so far that no Mither wasn't the first survivor spotted. So, definitely a nice chase of pace. Is we are going to have to go for the subs early on. We can't just find the survivor and go for M1 chase here. Going to have to go for a bit of skill expression early on here. As instead, we're going to find and kick this gen with our pop goes the weasel and apply our Colibran. Send that gen down to nothing. Holding that saw up, going to be trying to find another survivor. We do find another active generator right now. Going to be kicking, applying our Colibran to this one as well. Going to be, looks like going back here, just keeping an eye out, looking for our survivors pushing in here. Unhook comes through right under our nose. It'll be Dexo, the one that is going to send it in, but we don't have eyes for Dexo. Instead, switching, we want to commit on to Kitchen Woman here. Try to get this elimination as fast as possible here. Cutting off that window here. We have that base get bar time here to have that 15 seconds of endurance. Going to be able to make it back to the shack window, vaulting over that bamboozle applied here. Pulling up the saw. Are we able to make it to the pallet in time? Yes, we are, with a beautiful curve here by Visham. As that'll be another down onto the survivor. Is this our decisive? No, it is not. As this will be going back, and I think to the exact same hook here feels.
Yeah, this is a really insane start for Team X Killer. This is where our serves need to make zero mistakes. We do see Gem popping in the distance here, but are we managing to kind of cut off and find the person having our quick chase? We do find Ace, obviously, who is going to be playing around this palette, but not quite the safest palette, but they are making the best of it here. We are deciding to go back to Hook because we did sniff out the chase. We do get the endurance hit onto our tunnel here, which is going to hopefully resolve into a shorter chase for Vishtam here. But we do see Kitchen Woman, who is just sent it away, managing to have a fantastic kind of taken away and bring it to somewhere else with a lot more density of pallets and being able to have that chase just extended out a lot more.
I was gonna say they went atop the crane. Definitely a balanced landing attempt going to be going for here. Had the curve lined up, didn't quite pan out for Visham. Some beautiful movement by Kitchen Woman. Can be able to make it to another pallet now. Now it's gonna have that 4 lane, and a good mind game there is gonna pan out perfectly here for Visham. Looking for is someone here for the pallet save. Does not matter. We are allowed the Ebony Mori here, so that'll just be the Mori coming through on to Kitchen Woman here, going back to the campfire through a different means this time now, as that'll be our first kill. 3 gens still remaining, though, as Visham needs a bit more. They're looking for 9 stages. Doesn't matter the freshest, just has to be 9 stages to be able to take this win to close out this game. The Billy 2x2o. Now, scouting across the map here. Are we going to find anyone? We instead have a pallet that was dropped earlier. Going to be breaking that, thinning the resources, trying to make any future chases a little bit shorter in the process right now. As Survivor's definitely playing better, slowing down here as we are going to find Dexo wrapping around the outside of the main building here. Are we going to be able to make it to anything else from this small filler pallet, though? I don't quite think so. So that'll be a break here. Going for the crane, but we have the overdrive here, so that's a very fast charge. And clipping the heels of Claudette. Dexo didn't quite make it to the top of that crane to be able to evade that, as this was the survivor that got that first unhook, so more than likely deliverance. But we do have our 3rd gen popping and 4th coming soon as we see Eskai on that gen.
No, this is that was definitely difficult for Dexel there. I felt that hit the Achilles heel. But yeah, we are going to be seeing quite a quick daily coming out. We do manage to find our Nia, who is our no mither player. I'm surprised we've managed to stealth so long in the scenario. But yeah, we are going to be taking the M1 chase going on to Nia here, who's doing a great job holding these TNLs, wasting as much time as possible. But unfortunately, just getting caught out on the corner here, not being able to take chase any longer, and that will result in another hook coming in.
Yeah, This will be our fifth stage here. We see Classic going to be about to pop that fourth gen. I think we will. I don't think we're going to get interrupted just in time right now, as that hill gen is going to be finished here. We do know that the Survivor was very close, as they popped it pretty much in our face here. Drop pallet going to be used here at this filler. Immediately slowing through that is Visham now. Pulling up that saw once again here, applying pressure. Are we going to make it to any other resources? I don't quite think so. Cutting that saw a little bit early here. Just wants to make sure we keep the Survivor zoned on that edge map here. Edge map filler is in play right now. Wrapping around this. Are we going to make it to anything? No. Yes, we are actually. Is because we don't feather our saw quite enough here. Instead, going back for the unhook here, we see Dexo. Every Survivor is here. No one is working gens right now. Going for a curve around isn't going to quite pan out. Instead, hitting that base kit BT. And now Dexo going to be the Survivor he chooses to commit to here. Sprint Burst 99 is going to be consumed here. Getting that speed boost to try to make something else. Is it going to be enough, though? I don't quite think so. But a hit tank here. Sky playing perfectly to try to take this down, and they will exactly do that. As this is our no mither Survivor, though, so we have to make sure we keep in mind that Survivor is going to pick themselves up very, very soon if we don't let them. Curving, though. Dexo is the Survivor we're committing to. We see Classic committing that last generator. We are going to be able to get that M1 down onto Dexo here, so we're going to go back to Esakai here. Do we get the pickup in time before no mither here, Feels?
This is hard to see, but I don't think they are super interested. I think they might be worried about the gen, but or the pallet. They might just be really scared of the pallet. I don't know what to tell you. That was a dangerous game to play, and it looks like Vishtam lost that game. And we see fantastic pickup. That was honestly insane. That was so greedy, and it did not pay off for them. But oh my god, Cyber, I'm lost for words.
Yeah, that was one of those moments you had your no mither 99. You are just spamming, destroying your spacebar right there, trying to make sure you get that pallet drop before the killer gets the M1 and has that reaction time. Now, neither door has progress here. We're looking for Classic here, I'd imagine. As 9 stages is what we need. We have 5 right now here. We want to try to find our fresh. We may probably want to try to find someone else as well here. Is instead sending it towards that bottom side. Listening, do we hear any grunts of pain from Dexo? Do we see the trail of blood here? Do we see our no mither Survivor in Esakai? Mend hasn't came through yet. We hit our dead hard, but we haven't quite mended yet. So would imagine that Survivor is rotating. We do catch eyes on them here at this exit gate. And the other exit gate does end up popping. They pushed both at the same time here. As we have Classic also coming in here, trying to maybe take some distraction, maybe try to buy some time here. That'll be Esakai going onto the ground here, but we also have Classic. If we get both these Survivors, that would be enough here. Oh, going for a curve isn't going to quite pan out here. Classic paying these 50-50s here at this window. Greeting this TNL here. Wrap around the L wall. Ooh, barely bumping on that corners. Feels I think this might just be enough to get enough stages out of this trial.
This is a dangerous, dangerous game. We do get Classic going down. We do see our no mither player who has managed to get back up. Again, this is so scary. This is it's so close, and they know they can't let Classic die here. They cannot let him get all these stages, but they need to be able to kind of get the save in a safely manner, but also not give up any more stages. This is going to be a hard balance, but I think they are just going to decide to leave it.
Yeah, that'll only pan out in a tie if I'm not mistaken. You know, 8 stages for Fresh will be the result gained once again. So that is a tie. The second Billy set ends in a wash. As that means, if not mistaken, Feels we're going to that Oni set. We're finally breaking away from that Hillbilly Killer.
Yeah, we are going into Oni CT1 for the next. No, I'm sorry, I was having a bit of a joke. My bad. But yeah, it means we will be going up to tiebreaker, which is Oni CT1. A bit of a change up from our Billy sets that we've been having here. So it's all to play for. Make sure to stay tuned. We'll see you up for the tiebreaker set, which is Billy CT1.
Hello and welcome back to Dead by Dawn. We are in our third set of Oni Colt Tower 1. We have Visham here piloting the Oni here for Extazy Graves on Survivor here. As looks like we have a bit of a maybe a fastball, maybe a missed skill check over yonder, but that's not who we care about. We care about Nathan here. Gonna be wrapping away to that main building, our detective tap here. Gonna make it to that window. Gonna use our bamboozle to immediately block it off. We are not gonna be cycling the main building this game. As holding that M1 here, we're going to try to get that Bloodlust as soon as possible. Get that first hit online. That first level Bloodlust is going to be gained here. Going to be greeting away from this pallet now. Going back to that Ormond tile here. Bit of a mind game here around the wall. Are we going to be able to commit onto this here? Pre-dropping that pallet, vaulting over once, sending it towards that window here. Bloodlust 2 gained. This could be a very early hit coming here, and it is exactly Visham. Beautiful mind game here is going to get that first initial M1 here. Get that blood starting. Get that blood dripping out of Nathan here. Is going to be absorbing those orbs here. Trying to get that first Demon Dash online, as it looks like we're trailing these Scratch Max roughly here. Trying to keep them zoned to this pallet here. That drop is going to give us quite a bit more blood orbs thanks to our splintered hull add-on. As that is going to get us 33% more blood orb drops. First power online. Feels, are you excited for this set?
I'm really excited. Like I said, this is such an early power as well, and obviously with the time rotate, we did try and do the mid gen, which I know is preferable for a lot of teams because obviously, I don't know if you've noticed here, but we have a bit of a 4 gen scenario up at the top end here, which is going to cause them a little bit of problem long run. But we did have this mid gen kind of going forward. We are going to take Demon Dash onto our 10 tile here. Do we manage to find any pressure? We find a little bit of pressure. We don't see a serve yet. During this time, I would not be surprised if we see Nathan kind of getting reset here, being able to get as much kind of time out as we can. But we see Corrupt dropping down for the game, but we are kind of just dashing around our kind of 4 gen area. I think we are trying to defend it to the best capacity, but it's not really giving a lot of information right now. The team doing a great job kind of stealthing, not giving out that information for free.
Yeah, losing eyes here on that survivor that was working top mid here is very punishing. That is first power gone. Reset did not come through onto our detective tap here, so there is going to be a blood pool waiting for us somewhere on the map here. We do end up pushing away. I think this is kitchen moment here. Going to be forced back towards that maze tile here. Not going to be boozling the window, instead greeting it, going to this corner 11 pallet right now. As Visham here going to be playing the mind games from this. It is not actually kitchen moment. It is Esakai here. Going to be sending it back towards the maze tile. Do we make it back to this? This gen has a lot of progress. Not going to be greeting, instead going for that drop in. It is going to pan out perfectly, as we are going to be able to get that stun here. Eruption going to be applied once more to this gen now, as we instead are going to commit onto this here. We did lose our bloodlust though when we went for that pick. First gen popping. This is a bit of a reset of a game here, as we have a lot of pressure, but we don't have any power online. Switching back over to our survivor at this tile here. Are we going to make it back to the Ormond? Yes, we are. As wrapping around the window here, not opting the bamboozle just yet here, trying to play that M1, trying to maybe go for a bit of a mind game here, but Kitchen Woman is playing this beautifully. Do we make it back to this tile? We're going to send it for the window. It's going to be a close call. Are we going to swing for this? Yes, we are, but it doesn't quite come through. Kitchen Woman making it over in just the nick of time. Are we going to make it, though? We have another filler pot. We see a bit of blood here around the shack. Do we come onto this, or are we going to trail that blood that might have been left from Nathan earlier?
Yeah, like I said, I think Kitchen Woman might have got some extra lag premium there to make that vault. That was really, really nice done, but not quite getting the seawall vault here. They're going to be pushing back down down the map here, where most of our kind of pain reses are. We have got a bit of a Wendy's to work with, but we have still got this pallet. This pallet is a little bit harder to play, and we go for the Faru. I think that might have been some repressed anger coming off that window hit, but we do finally get our down at 3 gens remaining. This is kind of more what you see standardly in your Oni matches, but it's more how Visham is going to recover this match overall that's going to be kind of the test of patience on our kills here.
Yeah, we have definitely plenty of blood on the map. We just have to go collect the orbs that were left previous to get that power back online, to be able to get in that driver's seat of this game, put the pressure on these survivors, as not popping the power yet. Gonna wait until we see a survivor here, making sure that we can use that power to commit on someone, but third gen's gonna end up popping here. Esakai already on that fourth gen. We see halfway about done in progress. It looks like we are going to commit to walking away here. We're going to try to find the survivor that would pop this gen. A lot of blood on this, so we know who this was, we'd imagine. This is our Detective Tap, who's playing quite close here. Unhook's going to come through, popping that power now. We have that speed out on the be able to try to get these downs a little bit faster. Is it going to pan out for us here? As we have Classic here going to be wrapping around this filler power, and it does so beautifully. That'll be the first down with power, and we're immediately just going to pick up and take that hook stage. We know we have the blood here on that gen bottom side that just popped, but no pain res once again. Nothing really in position, as we do catch eyes on our tap, who is playing very close, but I think we'll have another power, and we might just commit onto their back here, feels.
Yeah, this is difficult because this guy is about to pop this gem, which is going to mean it's going to go into the 4K, sorry, the 1 gen left. But we do find scratches coming up on our 10 side here, but we are not quite seeing the serve quite yet. The serves have been doing a fabulous job of hiding. As I say that, we do see the head on coming in. Obviously during chase, which is really going to build them up that time that they really, really need. Their pressure has been absolutely immaculate. We do actually see a bit of a flare out coming from Kitchen Woman here, but not quite getting the down, but we are going to get the down in the main building. The main building is also kind of where they want their chases to be because most of their gens are kind of on the bottom side of the map here.
Yeah, but those pain rises are far. I think we are going to be able to make it to one this time to get our first regression of this game coming from that perk. As, yeah, going to be able to make it to this hook. No hit nicks coming through. Bit of a risky play to go for something like that in the Oni set, is that is basically just asking the Oni to get free power back off of you, as we are going to be able to get the unhook and reset here on the Classic. It's now a lot of blood still on this map here. Resets haven't been coming through super, super fast here, so there definitely is a lot of power here for Visham to be able to pick it back up and get something else going now. Unhook comes through on the Kitchen Woman at the same time, but we do not care. Going for Classic. Bit of an interesting play here. Going for that, I think they might have gotten vacuumed back to it, trying to go for the fast vault on the window to be able to get that prompt. Didn't pan out, almost ended in utter demise there if that locker grab would have quite come through, but it was only an M1 thankfully for them. Committing on this M1, we aren't going to pop the power instead, just going to play the M1 mind game here. Want to get this down just with the M1 so we can have that power in the back pocket, and we do so exactly, as this will be another pain res I'd imagine coming through, either on the deep hook by Shaq or on the hill. Hill will be the choice we end up choosing, as now pain res to slow down those gens to possibly maybe go find someone else, or we could play to camp this out and just hold our power as a threatening if they come in for that unhook.
Yeah, this is kind of where the survivors need to be testing for their patience. We do see someone on that mid gen there. We can kind of hold these gens a little bit, but we can't hold a hook and the gens quite. Um, I I don't know if we got a little bit confused on our palette there. Maybe just a little bit of a moment, but we are going to pop power. Obviously, as the unhook comes in, that was great timing in the retrospect of having the power, but these chases are going to need to be short to make it count. But we do get the pallet slam, but not unfortunately the survivor quite yet. But we do have our death hook in chase, which is kind of what you want to be seeing. But they cannot be taking a lot of your time here, or it's going to cause a lot more of a problem in the long run.
Oh, yeah, exactly. This needs to be a fast down. We need to get this down ASAP because we have to cut off before they pop that last generator. Going for another flick isn't going to quite pan out. Visham getting looped a little bit in this tile here. Classic is doing beautifully at trying to play those tight angles, deny any flicks from coming through. But we do end up switching over at the last second, finding a Sky out, working that top mid gen, and punishing that position. Getting that down on top of the gen here can end up picking out, applying our eruption. As I imagine now we'll see the pickup come through onto Sakai, as try to crawl away here, maybe trying to lose the killer isn't going to quite pan out, as that's why I got a lot farther. Probably tenacity equipped to them here, as it looks like we are going to end up just taking the hook. Oh, but it wasn't soon enough, as that is the final gem popping before we even get the hook. No pain res, it does not matter, as that'll be end game beginning. 5 stages gained, as we'll imagine we're looking for Nathan here, our last fresh survivor feels.
Yeah, this is where we find Nathan. Actually, as you said, we did get his guy, which was also fresh, but we do have Nathan. If we can get Nathan, this would not be a bad result to be ending out on. This would actually be kind of above average of where we should be looking, but I would not be surprised if we maybe have another survivor kind of pushing in to be able to take this down for them. But we get caught out a little bit over committing on the rock, but we're not going to make a massive amount of distance from it. We're probably trying to go for a bit of a hatch play here, but I don't know if they're going to get it.
Yeah, popping that power here. All the survivors are going to make it out the door. Killer knows they want the hatch. This is where the survivor wants to be. Is going to be cutting that off. Did Nathan send it away, or did we choose to camp the shack? Looks like we might try to send it up. The edge map here, tried to walk a little bit, maybe send those scratch marks a little bit of ray, but it did not work out, as Legion was going to be able to catch up to them and stay on that trail. So that'll be Nathan going down as our last fresh survivor, going onto the hook now. That'll be 8 stages, 4 fresh once again. A similar result to the Billy previous, but like you said, not a bad result all for Visham.
Yeah, no, this is kind of what you'd be seeing above average in the game, and they played this extraordinarily well. But the issue being is Grave Survivors just had that pressure in the bag. They were just absolutely on it from start game to end game. But yeah, this is going to be coming back with a 9 stage win con for Graves Killer, so make sure to stay tuned and we'll see you back then. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the second half of the tiebreaker here, where we saw a fantastic result coming in from Extazy's Killer, which was 8 stages with 1 kill. But we are needing to come back and get 9 stages this round to be able to take this tiebreaker win. But like I said, we do see Detso on the Killer right now with this fabulous cosmetic. I am such a big fan of this cosmetic. But we do see some early scratch marks coming round on the shack area, but not quite going to commit chase. I think Dexo is kind of playing this a lot more on the defensive side rather than going for hard chases right now. What do you think about it, Cyber?
I think this is a fine result. You know, Dexo is looking if a survivor is out of position here towards the edge map, just stealthing up, trying to not get caught, and ends up getting punished with that position. It is almost lights out pretty early on. That is such an early tag you'd be able to get here. We did not find anyone for free just on the edge map though. We ended up finding Skipatch here, who is going to take some good distance up here towards the jungle gym they have on this top side or on the main building here. Dropping that pallet, breaking it immediately. No brutal strength though, so no speed up on that kick right there. Stexo going to be just trying to play the mind game around this tile, but Skipatch is going to be more than aware of it here. Making their way back to the filler pallet they have, chaining to it here. Wrapping around it, though, isn't even going to choose to stay for too long, though. Instead, sending it to that nearby Orman tile. Wrapping back, because this is just some good greeting here. Trying to make sure they maximize all their tiles right now. It is going to end up kind of stranded. Oh, I was going to say stranded here at this filler here. Fake the swing there by absorbing the blood orbs. Going for the double vault isn't going to pan out in their favor here, so that'll be a first hit coming through. Decent bit of time wasted, though, as we see those 3 survivors are going to be splitting away on those gens right now. Dexo not even absorbing the blood. Are we going to make it to the shack pod? It's going to be kind of close now. No, it is not, as we do end up making that drop for free. Going to be instead doing that. Now absorbing a couple of the blood orbs, though, vaulting over that shack window. No bamboozle in place, so we're not playing any of the chase perks that you commonly see with Oni to be able to assist us in that early game. We didn't need it, though, as Dexo was more than comfortable playing that M1 mind game that in and of itself. And that is going to be the power online. We got the required blood orbs needed. We are going to be committing onto one of the survivors that popped that gen in our face. Are we going to be able to get that down very fast? Oh, doesn't look like it, though, as we instead don't end up committing on the Rachel there. Instead, maybe looking for someone else here. A bit of a risky play, going for someone we don't quite know where they are yet.
Yeah, I feel this is not the play that you kind of need to take in this moment in time. It's a little too risky for our liking, because if this power runs out and they obviously don't find anyone, that's just a wasted first power. We did see Visham going around the same thing last game where they were popping power but just not finding anyone. Actually doing a great job holding stealth right now. But it looks like our power is going to be running out. As I say that, we find Legion in the corner here. What a fantastic find coming in from Dexo. This is what you needed for the end of your power.
Yeah, barely at the last possible second, finding Vishnam here towards the edge of the map there, stealthing, trying to do everything they can to not be spotted, but they had a tiny, tiny wall to be able to hide behind. As Dexo, interesting decision here. It's not that they didn't have one in reach, they're actually choosing to not take that pain risk hook they had right in front of them, instead opting for hook position, more importantly, to take the hook behind the main building and try to put it in a better spot to be able to hold and apply pressure to these gens. It's now going to be using our Pop Goes the Weasel and Eruption once again to be able to try to slow down these gens. We have Eruption applied to 2 gens on the top side of the map right now. As Dexo might just be choosing to kind of camp this out a little bit maybe and just play slow and maybe force a trade if anyone comes here.
Yeah, this is a really, really good play in general. I think people forget about the hook behind main and how much value it actually does have. One thing I do notice kind of with more later generations of comp, they don't actually think a lot about the hook placement and why it matters in certain circumstances. This main hook, the one behind here, is so hard to save clearly off, and two, it's hard to kind of go back to your resources on. You need to kind of be stuck in this area, and especially with a little bit of gen spread down the side, this is kind of a dangerous place to be. We do know, we did know Interstellar was on top of the main building here, was projectily got balanced landing, um, but again, like we don't see any early saves coming. I think they're going to be trying to play this as slowly and safely as possible, with the killer just overcommitting just slightly enough that they actually managed to pick up safe during this point.
Yeah. And it's gonna cost us a bit here as we see that second gen pop, third one coming right around the corner here. Rachel about to pop that herself. As it looks like we do catch eyes here on Vishtam, going to be trying to make their way down the map. That is a lot of the bottom gens popped right now, but we are committing onto our injured ace here. Kicking, breaking this pallet right now. We are halfway to our power right now, absorbing the blood orbs that the ace is dropping on the way. As I imagine those survivors, all three health survivors are immediately dive, dive, dive. All the top gens. We need to try to pop and break this 3 gen. This is your window right now. We are committing to the bottom side to try to commit for this tunnel out. Power is going to be grabbed in hand. Are we going to instead just leave this? It looks like that is the choice we're going to make. Dexo walking up the map, power in hand. Is a survivor going to rotate a little too late? Is someone going to be caught out on the edge map once again here? This is what Dexo is hoping for, to try to be able to keep and hold on to this 3 gen top.
Yeah, this is kind of the way they need to be playing, especially with the result they came back last time, playing so defensively on this this free gen here is really, really important. They don't have a lot of progress, but what the progress we do, we see a blast mine coming in. That is just salt in the wound a little bit there. A bit of a good morning to the killer. We could pop our gen over here at 8 just to kind of secure in our gen down, but they need to play this free gem really, really well, and it is going to be a slow game to do so professionally without giving up so many stages.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, the patience Dexo is having right now is definitely going to pan out in their favor here. Kicking, applying rupture to these gens, so they do need to pull the trigger on that though pretty soon now, as we do have limited regression events. We need to make sure we get pressure on these survivors themselves. Actually, we can't just hold the generators and wait forever. So we're gonna have to find someone soon and be able to commit onto that right now. Is Dexo walking around power in hand? We did get the reset onto Legion on the bottom side of the map, probably pushing up onto the top side if I had to imagine. As we spot a survivor here in the back of the main building. Oh my! Interstellar did not quite get out of that locker. The slow vault into the locker took a lot of time, and then barely not getting that animation done. Getting out of the locker is gonna be just a grab that's so tragic for our survivors here. Is that wasn't even the power forced feels.
That is not what you want to be seeing, and that is so difficult because, like you said, we didn't even get a power for it, and it's just that's not what you want to be seeing, especially since we're on the one hook here, which is just giving us the amount of pressure. One in the free gen, and two giving us that pop value for this gen over here, really delaying this game out as long as they can. They do pull Survivor out. We get the only power coming out as they should be in this moment in time, because they know 2 people are out in this corner of the map, and they need to play this really professionally, and we get the head on coming through.
Yeah, head on, I'm blind, stunned. The bear is getting beaten today. Is gonna go for a flick around this. Rachel not gonna be able to quite make getting our revenge on that survivor here. Gonna be getting that down. Eruption gonna be exploding that bottom side generator here. This will be our third fresh hook right now. We are looking for 6 more stages here. 9 stages total is what we're looking for Graves to be able to take this to bring us back to that Billy set, to replay it, that initial tied Billy set that we had. As instead going to be hooking now, trying to put pressure on this bottom side gen. Looks like not going to quite commit, as we see the sparks still coming out of it, so we don't need to commit over there to kick it for the pop right now. Instead, going to be walking up the map to kick the top side gen, as we see Skip Hatch going to be wrapping away from this gen and going towards that main building. But no power in play right now, so this is just an M1 chase once again.
Yeah, no, this is let's go back to the M1 chase. There is not a super lot of power down this top side. This is what Extazy have been doing really well at. It's keeping away the power. We do get Bloodless 1 coming in, but we are going to manage to make back in this pallet. We have to play this really, really well. Not giving the tag, but we do swing for the pallet. What an absolute demonic play coming in. It doesn't make it back around. That is going to be another person dying within the free gen. We do get another pop for it, which is kind of the further away gen, which is not the gen you quite want to be having out. But we need one more gen to be able to get this going. We do see this gen here has a little bit of progress. We know main has a little bit of progress. But this pop is just going to bring it back down, making sure that we are starting from scratch, especially with one on the hook in the back of main here.
Yeah, now we're back in a similar situation we were at exactly before. where we have the power in hand, we have a hook behind the main building, and again, that bottom gen popping, it's unfortunate, I guess, but that's not what Dexo cares about. Dexo has their 3 gens on the top side that they can hold. If the Survivor comes a little too close, that bear is going charging, and it looks like Rachel. We see Rick Grimes playing around this here. Dexo not even gonna pop the power yet. Instead, just gonna try to threaten. Maybe with M1, we see possibly. I think that was a fast vault on the main building window coming in for the unhook, and Interstellar is gonna be able to get it in time right now. Is Dexo gonna try to cut off? Are we gonna be able to get this Nancy Wheeler before we make it away? No, we are not. Instead, we're gonna be back on Skip Patch here. That base kit BT, that base kit Endurance right now looks like gonna be waiting out that borrowed time here, knows they have the confidence to be able to not drop that for a little bit. Is now going for a flick here. Vault, and it isn't going to pan out. One too many panic vaults into Dexo's arms right now, as we are going to get the pickup here. As that was a power, though, we did get the eruption on some of those generators here, and it looks like we're going to opt to just take the hook fully in this corner to be able to completely deny anyone from working this gen. But feels this is a little bit far from that far gen on the other side of main building, so definitely quite a bit safer to work that gen over there.
Yeah, there is possibilities here, but again, like balancing stages and balancing gen pressure is so hard because the pre-leaving needs to be immaculate. They need to be able to catch people. As we see Interstellar, I don't
Oh,
think quite had the distance they thought they did. We do get the save quite early for it because I think we thought we had enough time with the commitment from Interstellar. But we know where 3 people are. The moment we're going to get hit onto Rachel here, who is going to get full power. Um, but we do see someone scampering along in the front of main here, which is not what we want to see. Do we go on to 10 to 11 to see if we can catch that person now? We find Interstellar on the gen. This is where the game starts becoming into kind of a fumble because we end up seeing that mix up between players and gens and obviously stages, and we need to make sure that every moment counts. This gen has a little bit of progress on it, but not for long since Pop is going to come in, and
yeah.
it's just the game's looking a little bit on the dire side.
Yeah, 2 survivors injured now. That is going to be a lot of blood being leaked. It looks like we're not even opting to go for any resets. We're just letting the killer. We're accepting. This is going to be, the rest of this game is going to be played out with a lot of powers left. Dexa more than comfortable on it. We've seen, though, as we have survivors playing very close by, playing around this pallet, though. Skipash maybe playing a little bit too close. That is going to be another down coming through. As, oh, it looks like that was maybe some sort of head-on save that was intended to come through here. But Dexa was aware of it, so did turn their attention to the locker. And Rachel ended up sending the head on just to make sure that there wasn't a double down, as carrying Skipetch now towards that front main hook just to get back as soon as possible to that far gen. The only way realistically feels I see that the survivors can clutch up here is by regressions running out on these gens. No more pop goes the weasels and eruptions.
Yeah, they have to kind of play safely as possible, watching the regressions, obviously counting the regressions, but easier said than done when we are in the freebie with blood all around our gens here, kind of causing us a little bit of problem. They at this point, I think they need to just kind of tank through the amount of blood that's on the map and just be able to play it through it. But we do catch someone on this 11th gen. They might be getting a little greedy for it, but just unfortunately, it's in a little bit of a dead zone because we did use this pallet earlier on in the match.
Yeah.
Oh,
A bit of an ace jump scare right there. Was a little closer than we probably had anticipated. Dex are going to be playing around this. Looks like try to send it away here, Vitash. Not going to be able to make it to anything safe, though, as we are going to end up just getting this power down. Eruption going to be hit. We saw the aura of a survivor on that top main building gen right now, but that survivor is just full sitting on it. We are going to make it decently up the map here to our last pain res hook. We saved it on them before. Now it's going to kind of come into play, be able to regress those gens a little bit more right now, as both these survivors are injured, so we have plenty of blood here, absorbing the blood, forcing that bounce landing. We are going to be able to get our kick with Pop Goes the Weasel and Eruption once again right now. His power in hand. Dexo only needs one more stage, if I'm not mistaken, here to be able to take this, as we are currently at 8-4, which is the tie result for the previous trial. If Dexo gets us, we go back to that Billy set once again to be played, as Dexo now just going to play safe here, wait around the main gen, let it regress with its passive regression that we got from the kick earlier. and now going to be popping that power. Blood in the Water, Interstellar, pushing down the map here. That's the survivor we have eyes on currently. We are going to be instead wrapping around the tile here. Interesting choice. Just I think this pallet was used a little bit earlier here, so not much safety in that resource, but does have the dropped Orm pallet, but it doesn't matter. We don't want them nonetheless. Switching back here, we do end up finding Legion around the rock, and there's no pallet there. It is not safe. Down on the ground we go. As with that pickup, that will be Graves taking this set.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever feel like you're stuck in a loop, Cyber, but we are going to be going back to the Billy set to break this tie. Because obviously, with XC winning first set, tying second, and obviously Graves winning this set here, we will be going back to the Billy set. So, like I said, if you are a big Billy fan, today might be your day as we see the Mori, my favorite Mori in the game. We are going to see Interstellar getting just mauled out a little bit there. With a gen going off in the back.
I think we got popped. Hey, we did the gen team. Rachel got that one. Rick Grimes surviving once again. Don't know if we're gonna get the door. Yeah, no, there's only one that lit up on that door. Rick Grimes might not be surviving this one. Think there might be a head-on play coming through. It's not gonna be enough. You know what? You like that Mori so much. Why not see it twice? Maybe not. We might be just taking the hook. We don't want to wait around. As you know what, Rachel, you're not getting the Mori. You don't get to see the cool animation. You're going back to the campfire on the hook this way. As that'll be the Oni set, like we said, going the way of Graves. We are going to that Billy replayed that was set number 2. Remember, we had 2x Billy as our first 2 sets. Well, how about 3x? As we'll be back after a short break with another Billy set. Stay tuned.